This is the voice of the Report of the Week, signing on. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone watching. This is the Report of the Week here with another VORW show. Let's see when this is being recorded. Well, it's being recorded on Thursday, July the 24th, 2014. Current time is 12:52 a.m. Eastern Time. So, for those of you listening, maybe it's Friday. Maybe it's, just 24 hours from now. Maybe early Friday, late Thursday. Either way, of course, consciously for me, I was awake during Wednesday, knowing my schedule. Maybe you don't know my schedule, but, let's clarify it, alright? For me, I normally fall asleep nowadays at between 5 and 7 a.m. Actually, between 6 and 7 a.m., we'll say. Alright? That's when I normally fall asleep. I wake up nowadays anytime between usually 2 and 4 p.m. Alright, so it's a very, very odd schedule, right? And the days, they're very odd for me, I mostly live in darkness, it's an odd schedule, but I keep it. Surprisingly, this is what my body naturally adapts to, so I figure third shift work would be nice to do at some point, but let's face it. What kinds of jobs are third shift? Right? But you adapt and overcome. That's an important thing to know. What you realize. But either way, I've been up since 2 p.m. Today. I actually woke up early. I had to set the alarm clock because we had the air conditioner blasting, so I really wanted to make sure I woke up. I fell asleep on the sofa, if you want to know. But I woke up early because I invited a relative to come over who really wanted to see the pictures from our vacation, so I, of course, showed and enunciated over the whole deal of pictures from my Hawaiian ventures. So I thought that was nice, but I woke up early for that. Then let me tell you, it was a sweltering day. It was at least Fahrenheit in the mid-90s. All right, that's very, very hot. It was also a bit humid, so that didn't do anything to help. But I stuck to my tradition and standards, and I wore a long-sleeve white shirt and a full suit. And then I filmed a food review later that day. I decided to check out Wendy's, okay? Now, Wendy's, listen, I haven't done a lot of Wendy's reviews lately. The epitome of my Wendy's reviews, I'd say that the zenith, let's say, of my reviews, was probably between August and December 2013. And then I realized I reviewed their entire menu, and I had nothing to review. But then I saw, last night, maybe the night before, at some point, I saw that they brought the pretzel burger back. And I remember doing those, at least I said in the review, I thought, back in November, but I actually did it in August of 2013, almost a year ago. And I saw they had the pretzel burger back, and I decided it's back. And the first time I had it, it was so disgraceful, I gave it a 4 out of 10. And that was because of the sauce they put on it. That sauce was ungodly. It was absolutely horrendous. In every single form, every single manner, it was horrendous. And I thought to myself, well, since it's back, I can try something. Maybe I won't necessarily say I'm re-reviewing it, but how about we try it without the sauce and see how that would taste? So I ordered it up, reviewed it without the sauce, and, we'll see. We'll see what comes of it. I got a backlog of about 3 videos now, but they're all very, very recent, filmed this week. Been filming almost every day, so I'm really powering through all this stuff, but, it'll get up soon, trust me. Well, then I also want to do a pizza review. I have DiGiorno pizza sitting there in the freezer. It's their, how you say, I don't know, artisan. Let's walk over right now to the refrigerator, the freezer. Let's see which door. Stay open. Stay open. The door wants to shut on me. Stay open. Now you can close. Let's see what pizza this is from DiGiorno. DiGiorno Pizzeria exclamation point. That's how I'm gonna read it too. Pizzeria. I'm really proud of it. Apparently it's supposed to be like a real pizza with now it's supposed to make it look like some chef was actually there that hand tossed it and everything. It's supposed to have little imperfections in the crust, not perfectly round. Which who knows? Just cut with a mold to make it make it look like it was actually touched by another human, but in reality it wasn't. So we'll have to review that at some point. I'm making the introductions longer because we have a very, very small mailbag. Probably because I'm recording this not even 12 hours after I uploaded the last VORW. But, oh well. I upload stuff so frequently it doesn't really matter anymore. But, yeah, so I'm probably going to review that pizza at like 5 a.m. No joke. Think about my body right now. This sleep schedule it's wired to. If I'm falling asleep at 7 a.m., I'm just having a late dinner at 5 a.m. Okay? So, while eating a pizza at 5 a.m. may seem a little unorthodox for some people, for me it's perfectly normal and my body feels the same way. Perfectly normal. Alright? I'm actually thinking about cooking a pizza up around 4 after I finish recording. I don't know if that. I think I will. I've got a bruschetta sitting there. It's I think it's everything pizza, or supreme I think they call it. And I'm gonna have that. And that'll be my final meal for the day. I usually live off of 2 meals now. I call them meals because there's no name for this stuff. What do you call eating a dinner at 5 a.m.? Meal, right? That's all you really can call it. So, we'll see. Usually I have my first meal at 6 p.m., second meal at 4 a.m. I'm good to go. I'm set. So, I think that's about it. How are we now? And let's take this up to 10 minutes. Got another thing I want to talk about. So the other day, you might have noticed a little bit in my latest drink review of Sambazon Energy. I added into the description a brief text. Something I normally don't do. But I felt if maybe a few people see it, it won't change anything, but at least I'll let it be heard. I've since removed it because I feel my message has been said. The other day, whatever day it was, maybe Monday or Tuesday. Tuesday it was actually. I woke up and don't you think, sitting in my inbox here, and I wouldn't dare read it. It was just a message with a couple of links. So I curiously clicked on them, and I saw upon following those links, clearly by far the most hateful display. It's not even trolling; it goes beyond that. It's pure hatred at that point. The most hateful display of actions towards me I have ever seen. It took the cake. And when you see something of that magnitude, it really hits you hard. And following that, I began thinking, why bother doing this anymore if this is all I get out of it? And I was convinced, when I was taking my walk, alright, I'm shutting the channel down. As soon as I get back, I'm shutting the channel down. doesn't have any benefit on my life, you know. I was telling myself, yeah, I'm shutting the channel down. Of course, it's all talk. I didn't. But, you know, when you see that kind of stuff, you think, you know, out of the 3 years I've been here, and out of all the crap I've taken, this one really hit me. You know, those comments and posts and all that stuff is... nowadays I ignore it, but, I mean, compared to that, that's nothing. And I'm not going to even acknowledge it any further than that, but I want to let you know that I changed my mind, but that stuff hits you, I tell you. I swear. Okay, so I think we're 12 minutes in. 10:46. Alright, well, let's read the fan mail. Let's see today's mailbag. Well, we'll start here, and if I already read this, which I might think I did already, well, so be it. Then you get extra airtime, right? Not like I'm charging anyone anything anyways. Hey bro, just wanted to say these podcasts are 10 out of 10. Pretty good. Been listening every day. Love you, and don't forget to keep it natty, brah. Also, you should start lifting, brah. I know you might be reluctant, but if you have time, you should pick up the book Starting Strength and give it a read. I used to be pretty skinny, like you, and then I found just a couple of hours training each week. I could do more than I ever thought I could. Lifting isn't just physical training, brah. It permeates the mind, body, and soul. Yeah, I did read this already, but oh well. I'm gonna respond to it too. Yeah, it is an interesting thing, lifting. And I have heard that it can change lives. It really can. Both physically and mentally. But the only problem I've got right now is if I become swole, as they like to say, what's going to happen to my suits? I got 17 now. I just got my black suit that I was telling you about. You know, it's, I don't know. Well, think about it. A new gym's actually opening up near my location, so now I got no excuse. But for now, I'll just keep it as it is. Thank you, though, and I'll definitely check out that book, Starting Strength. I will. Might be thinking, oh, you're not going to do anything, you know. But honestly, when I get the time, I'm actually doing some reading right now. I'm reading a couple various books. Next piece of literature I'm going to move on to is a book known as Dead Mountain. It's a very interesting book from what I've heard. A Dead Mountain, the untold true story of the Dyatlov Pass incident. If you're not sure what that is, the Dyatlov Pass incident, it's a really eerie thing that did happen, and it's a book about it. So definitely look forward to reading that. Anyway, in your last VORW, you mentioned that the tourists behind you in a photo were misbehaving. Can you explain in detail what they were doing? Regards. Yeah, I think they're either drunk or oxygen deprived or both. Actually, yeah, it was obvious that they were drunk. They were, number one, they were making fools out of themselves. They were being a disruption to everyone else. They clearly were drunk and also suffering from oxygen deprivation. I mean, there were broken beer bottles all around them, so, I mean, it just adds up. First, they were dancing around and stuff, which is clear in the back of that picture. Then they were yelling and swearing and jumping around all over the place. And I was more concerned that one of them was accidentally going to fall off the mountain than, you know, anything else. But I mean, to be up there in, you know, such a serene place with you know, a bunch of drunk, you know, whatever you want to call them, miscreants. up there. You know, kind of ruins it. You know. So that's why I was kind of disgusted. But that was on the summit, mind you. We moved down a little bit to view the sunset in its fullest. Okay. Hope that clears it up. Next. Oh, yeah, I remember you. I enjoyed the Forgot the Napkins. Fooled you bit in the latest review. You had me for a second. I've been really enjoying the VORW shows as of late, especially the history of the channel. Really informative and entertaining. I turned my gal pal onto your channel, and she died laughing at your Suicide Wings review, and is now a subscriber. I was looking forward to a new upload. Keep them coming, please. Just another bra. Yeah, I actually do remember your name. And I thank you for your kind words there. And, yeah, that Planet Wings review, I will say, I mean, that was really something. I'd have to say that's probably one of the most memorable videos I have ever filmed. Simply because, if anything, you know, when I went in there, Planet Wings is a fine wing establishment. They sell a lot of wings. You've seen me been doing these Planet Wing videos. You know, I'm just going through their entire menu, and what? I've been doing this almost for half a year. Still going strong. You know, so when I tried their medium wings and their hot wings, they weren't really that hot, you know? So I expected their suicide wings, oh yeah, this will be easy, I could handle it, right? So I just dive in there. I order the wings, right? I get them home. I just dive right into the dish. I didn't think these were going to be the hottest wings I've ever had in my life, which, trust me, they certainly were. And, you know, they were truly, it just took me by surprise, and, you know, everything you saw there, I was completely unplanned, unscripted. I didn't know what to do. So I thought that was something. Speaking of Planet Wings, you know, once again, because we have such a light turnout on the mail, have a chance to really elaborate a little more on each letter. And speaking of Planet Wings, last year I actually knew someone who frequently visited Planet Wings as well. And he was telling me that with his friends, they would play a little game there called Wing Roulette. And what they would do is get a few varieties of wings. Let's just say, for instance, for example, they might get a type of barbecue wing, right? Maybe they'll get like the teriyaki wings, the garlic wings, the medium wings, and then the suicidal wings. And they'll put one of each on a plate, and then they would actually, somehow, it might have been some type of plate or something, they would spin the plate, and whichever wing was right in front of you, you would be forced to eat the entire thing. And he was telling me that he would do that with his friends, and one time he ate one of the suicidal wings also, and he said it was the hottest thing he's ever eaten too. You know, so you could understand he could understand where I was coming from, let's just say, with that review. But he said he greatly enjoyed it. I thought that was an interesting little thing. Hey there, just watched your Sambazon review. $4.50 for one energy drink? That is outrageous. They will jack up the price of anything to prey on tourists. I swear. Absolutely, I wholeheartedly agree with that. At least it tasted good, though. Quite unlike your experience with the lovely G-Shot. Also, since you weren't sure on the pronunciation, the chai is pronounced asai. Oh boy, I figured I was wrong with that one. Asai. Alright, that makes a lot more sense. Instead of a chai, figured there'd be no way it would actually sound like how I was pronouncing it, and I was proved correct there. I've never had them in their natural form, but have had them in many health and energy drinks. Anyway, looking forward to the next VORW, and have a good rest of your day. Likewise, have a good day, and thank you for the pronunciation help. You know, honestly, when I saw that, I really don't look at these drinks too much in advance. I just take it. I figure, all right, which one am I going to do? Oh, let's do this one. I take it. I walk over to the refrigerator. Keep it chilled for normally a good 6 hours. It might sound a little bit outrageous, but I always want to make sure it, really is nice and chilled before I open it up, unless it's specified otherwise. And I'm sitting there, behind the camera, actually in front of the camera. The camera was in front of me. Don't know why I said that. I'm not filming anything. But I was sitting there in front of the camera with the review, and I look at the name here, and I see the A and then this weird curved C, and then I think, oh, great. I don't know how I'm going to pronounce this. So I decided, all right, well, let's give this the most accurate. By that, I mean the worst possible pronunciation I could possibly give this. So that ended up being, instead of a sigh, it was a chayim. So I found that to be absolutely awful. Before we finish up here, let me just, let's walk over and get a glass of water here. Something that I normally do earlier in the show, but, it is what it is. This is a easier show than most. I find, more relaxed pace, if you will. Let's open up the freezer again and let's grab, how about two ice cubes? There we go. 2 ice cubes right next to each other. There they go, into the glass. Excellent. It's considerably cooled down and we have the air on, but it's still nice to drink a refreshing, cool beverage. Finishing up. Love the vids, man. Especially the thick crust pizza review. Seem like a cool guy. There's a lot of hate and angry people on the internet, but don't worry about them. Do your thing. Thank you. Hey man, I just wanted to say, keep up the awesome work. Don't let the negative people get to you. Unfortunately, idiots always seem to have the loudest voices. Oh, you couldn't have said it better. Your videos are awesome, and I hope you could make it down to New Zealand sometime to try our range of energy drinks. Hey, you never know. I mean, trust me, the whole thing with Hawaii, even last year I didn't think, oh yeah, I'd be going to Hawaii in a year. I never thought that. But it's funny how things, how things come about. A couple more VO2 frequencies. 5.858 megahertz. Heard at 12:40 a.m. Central Time, July 23rd. 16.180 megahertz. Heard 2 days ago, about 4:30 p.m. Central Daylight Time. And 17.480 megahertz. Heard 2 days ago, around the same time. Yeah, VO2, that's the Cuban number station in Spanish. I did hear them actually last night, very late of course, at 6 a.m. when I was actually ready to fall asleep. I decided instead of having the TV blaring, this time I would have the shortwave radio on for an hour before it would shut off, so I decided to do some scanning before I fell asleep. Heard another good station, heard Radio Australia, coming in very loud, all the way from Australia. I find it remarkable for it to travel such a distance, but they had a good music program going. But I also encountered the Cuban station. It was on a lower frequency. Might have been one of the ones you mentioned. Sometimes they actually have a tendency to repeat frequencies at a later time. I think that might have been the 5855 kilohertz. Hey review bro, just wanted to drop you a few lines about how much I enjoy your channel. I feverishly await each new video and watch them gleefully as soon as I can. I really enjoy your VORW shows, and I really think you could have a career in radio broadcasting. As an aside, my brother is also into shortwave and is familiar with Brother Stare and some of the other lovable kooks. Yeah. A few years back, he took a couple day classes and then passed the test and received his broadcasting license and his very own call sign. KJ4 VNS. I hate to hear you're still being aggravated by those so-called haters, and I would advise you to try to let it roll off your shoulders, but I know how difficult and almost impossible that would be for myself. I would hope you take solace in the fact that you bring information, entertainment, and joy to thousands. I wish you the very best, and I hope you make your videos as long as you wish to. If it wouldn't be too much trouble, could you give my brother's call sign, KJ4 VNS, an official report of the week shout-out? Thanks, friend. Your fan, Brian. Oh, absolutely. I gladly will. This is a first, but I shall gladly do it. I officially give KJ4 VNS an official report of the week shout-out. I hope you're doing quite all right. And, as a ham radio operator, I hope everything's going well. And, I wish you all the best, but, I truly give you an official, formal report of the week shout-out. And, nowadays, I seem to be giving shout-outs a little more, but I told you, I think in the past few VORW shows, I don't know if it was really yesterday's, whatever one it is, but in the past few, I've been talking about those shout-outs, right? Those shout-outs and my troubles with them. Each time I did them, it didn't end real well. But this time I've realized that, once again, my audience has changed. Remember, the first group of people I was giving shout-outs to was, young kids. Not young, I suppose young teenagers. They weren't really kids. And then the second group, they were kids. They were stupid kids too, but they were kids regardless. But now the third group is pretty much comprised of reasonable adults, who know that if they say, "Oh, could you give me a shout out and say F so-and-so?" I wouldn't read that. So I think this this will work. You see how I give shout outs regularly now on these VORW programs, and I continue to do so. Because it's not, adversely affecting anyone at all. So I see no reason for stopping that. And finally, we had a very short amount of messages, but I decided to really respond to all of them, much more in-depth than I normally would. Hi, Review Bro. Thanks for answering my fan mail. Glad to hear you found that Godspeed track of interest. And I did not know the Atomic Clock was also from a shortwave station. Oh yeah, the Atomic Clock, that's run out of Colorado. It's run by the U.S. government. It's a shortwave station that just tells the time, the exact time, the correct time, and is broadcast on various frequencies. Continuing on with this. But now that I know, it makes me realize that so many of the samples they use in their songs most likely taken from the radio. Very interesting stuff. I'm also glad to hear that you had a good time in Hawaii. I myself just went on a short vacation to Chicago. I had my first ever real Chicago deep dish pizza. It was delicious, and it comes highly recommended. Absolutely. When I was in Chicago a few years back, I made the stupid decision to, at this one restaurant, I went with the burger or the steak or something instead of the Chicago deep dish pizza. And I figured never again will I ever do that. If I'm ever in Chicago again in my life, which I may or may not be it on vacation or business or other matters, definitely make do and try a Chicago deep dish pizza. Because while I've tried the Pizzeria Uno one, it's a frozen pizza. It's not the real thing. Sure, it's modeled after it, but it's not a true Chicago deep dish pizza served in Chicago. A couple more questions for you. Seeing that you are obviously a man of sophisticated taste, I was wondering if you have any interest in art. And if so, do you have any favorite mediums, what your favorite mediums and works are? I myself love painting and photography a whole lot. Some of my favorite paintings are Christina's World by Andrew Wyeth, The Torn Hat by Thomas Sully, and The Nocturne in black and gold. The Falling Rocket by James Abbott McNeill Whistler. Yeah, the arts are a very interesting thing. Really, I go with maybe the same thing as you. Though I really, of course, do not actively participate in either. I'm really a big fan of photography. And, of course, I love looking at the beautiful masterpieces, paintings. Because the amount of talent that these people possess is unreal. It's incredible to see that just with a stick and some just dyed liquids, really, you could create something so beautiful. And I really find that extraordinary. But photography, it's absolutely beautiful. Photography, it's somewhat controversial among some people, because you could say, oh, anyone could pick up a camera and take a picture of something, and, is it really art if, say, not necessarily, I'm more of a fan of nature pictures. You might say, is it really art, if no one really made it? If it's just a physical or a, just like an environmental thing, really. Say a beautiful view or a beautiful forest or what have you. But those are my favorites, But, of course, there are many others. Of course, painting-wise as well. But for the sake of time, let's continue on to a second question. Second, I was wondering if you could tell us about your footwear sometime. We all know you enjoy very nice suits. I'm guessing you must have some pretty spiffy shoes to match. Thanks so much, and take care. Nate. Alright, Nate. Well, just talking about the footwear here before we continue on with the lecture. I'm really taking my time with this one because now we're once again cooling off with this channel after we went to a very powerful one yesterday that discussed the turning point. Now we're going to be switching into the modern age of my channel. But before we do anything, let's talk about shoes very briefly, because eventually when I finish this, who knows what I'll be talking about. So talking about shoes more in depth might come in handy. But my footwear, of course, I do take very good care of. Now, nowadays with modern fashion, and you know how I feel about modern fashion. With modern fashion, they always say, no, don't wear black shoes with anything. You gotta wear these brown things that look like slippers, but actually they're very formal. That's what a lot of people think. I don't know if they're Sperry's or if that's what they're called. Let me look right now, right? Got the power of Google on my side. Oh, that's a Y, not an I. Yeah. Sperry's, as they're called, Sperrys. Nowadays, you see people wearing these things with suits, even. It's not bad enough when you're wearing it with some teal-colored shorts and a polo shirt with some belt that looks like a washed-up rag. Now they're wearing those with suits, some people, and I find that absolutely tasteless. But, I can't. At least they're still wearing suits, right? I'll take what I can get. So, my shoes are very traditional, alright? I own 2 pairs of shoes, and I'll rotate them pretty much every other day. They're black Oxfords, both of them. Round toe, not square toe. I find that to be a little boxy. My first pair of dress shoes was that, and I found it a little boxy, But I have 2 pairs, and I take very, very good care of them. Every single day, if I plan on going out, I make sure that my shoes are not scuffed, and I polish them before I go out no matter what. If I'm just going to the store, if I'm going somewhere else, I always make sure they're polished. Always. It's part of my routine. They have to be polished and clean. And most of the time they come home the same way, but always make sure they're in good condition. But both of them solid black in color. They go with anything, so that's why, really. Oh, I bet the fashionistas are having a cow if they heard this, but let them. Let them. Right? What are they going to do about it? Send me a free pair of Sperry's? let's continue on with the lecture here. Actually, a little hungry. You know that? Let's see what we got on the menu tonight. We got our pizza, of course. But that's going to be after I finish this. But I don't want to, rush this at all. Got a few donuts here, so let's sprinkle off a piece. I understand that I always keep table manners, so I'm not going to obnoxiously chew or anything. We have to wipe these donuts are apple cider, or apple crisp donuts. I'm not really a fan of them, but I take what I can get. Yeah, some little sugar on it. It's hard to get that off of my hands. I figure a quarter of a donut will do. A bit dry, though. And swallow. Sorry about that, I was just taking an on-air comestible break. If you want to have a concentrated mind, your stomach needs to be put at bay first. Because your stomach has a mind of its own, or at least mine does, sometimes. Sometimes it thinks it has the right to prioritize, but it really doesn't. My brain knows, alright, you're getting food soon. It just doesn't realize that. I want food now. And then I realize that I'm trying to personify inanimate body parts. This is where we've ended up. On to the lecture. So we left off, of course, with the very substantial events that happened. I told you of my stupidity with the comments. Talked about how the video went viral. All the negative attention I gained, and some positive, mostly negative. Told you about my stupidity, the comments again. Told you about the repercussions. Then the personal repercussions, in my mind, due to my failure to recognize the true problem. So now, it's March 2013. We're going back in time now, okay? We're going back in time. All the way back. Tried to make that dramatic, but it just sounded even worse. We're going back in time to March of 2013. March 16th, to be exact. That was my return to air. We were back. And the video was titled accordingly. You could watch this if you want, I don't care. These videos are up for a reason. Don't feel, bad or anything about watching my old videos. You might think, I don't know, for whatever reason. You might think watching these old videos, you might think, oh, this is whatever, back when he was different, I feel like I shouldn't be watching. I don't know. I don't even think anyone has that feeling. But, if you do, don't be discouraged. These videos are all up for a reason. If it, feels like you're looking too closely into my life here, or seeing back when I was happy or anything and you feel bad, please don't, These videos are up for a reason. The ones I didn't want to be up, I took down. Everything else that is up, I have no problems if you watch, and I could care less how many you watch. Listen, I don't care if you drink 10 Red Bulls and go on a binge and watch every one of my videos over the course of many nights. And then in the ER. So please feel free to watch these videos along with the lecture. Feel free to just pause it and go to the video, watch it, and then come back. I really don't care what you do. But, my return. Filmed on March 16th, 2013. Even then, when I hadn't fully understood that I screwed up so majorly, I had finally grasped at that time, yeah, maybe I really didn't do the right thing. So I understood. But that was the day we were back up. Now, let me tell you something about that video a little bit. I don't know how far we're going to get through this, but we'll just start going and we'll see where we end off. This time I am cutting it off at the hour because it's, once again, not as substantial as before. I'll tell you something I never told anyone else before about that video. The I am back one. While in the video I might still seem, pretty happy and what have you. Did you know that was actually the second take of that video? But, lecturer review bar, it can't be the second take. You did an energy drink review and the can is clearly shut. You simply can't fuse it back together like that. Or did you buy 2 cans? Please explain. And I gladly will, my friends. It was the second take of that video. But in the first take, I wasn't doing an energy drink review. In the first take of my I am back video, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I sat in front of the camera. I pretty much talked and made various announcements and what have you. Announced my return. But I was pretty much remember, this was filmed hours before I actually filmed that one. I didn't know what to do. I feel I ended up coming out as like a pompous prick. That's the only way to describe it, and please pardon my language there, but that's the only way to describe it. So I said, no, I can't do this. So I took a break. I took a 6-hour break. I deleted that. And I thought, how about we come back with tradition. And I'll continue on, starting, or let's rephrase that. I'll continue with what I started. That sounds better. Let's keep this going with an energy drink review. The core foundation of this channel. The roots of this channel. Energy drink reviews. That's what it was based off of. That was its intent. And that's what we continued on with. So the first video, back, in the modern era of my channel. Went from the golden age to the modern era. Well, maybe modern era part 1. Because there actually are 2 modern eras that I have. The first one extends from March of 2013 to maybe October of 2013. And the second one extends from October of 2013 to present. I'll explain both in probably the next lecture, maybe the next 2. I'm really trying to drag this out, I hope you know. For 2 reasons. Number 1, I want to cover every single thing as concisely as possible. Trying to have the maximum number of details in there. And secondly, I don't know what I'm going to talk about after this. So, I'm just thankful that I have a topic that, I know a tremendous deal about. And I could talk about for literally hours. I'm just going to stick with it. Why not making it seem redundant? So, this video, the first one, as I was saying, it was the beginning of my modern era. And in it, we successfully did an energy drink review. Now, you might notice if you have watched it or will watch it, you could pause this right now and you could watch it because I'm going to talk about the video a little bit now. You don't need to watch the whole thing. You can if you want, but you don't have to. If you notice in that video, compare that review, the original, the I Am Back one, to any of my videos filmed in 2012. And then you could, if you have a lot of time on your hands, compare it to a modern one, say one of my most recent reviews. You'll notice that it compares a lot more to the one from 2012. Even though my mindset was completely changed already, though still in the workings, but it was already changed. Why do you think that was? There's a simple answer to it. Because you gotta remember that the previous way I filmed, which, I don't know, maybe it was more fun. I feel that nowadays it's more of a, I try to make these videos more of a serious thing. Because back then, remember, all I was some stupid kid in a suit. But now at least I try to be taken a little more seriously. At least now, people actually watch the videos. Not just watch them for 14 seconds, which is literally one of the times that most people watch the video for. Just laughed at it like, for the camera. So I feel there's an improvement in audience as well. Maybe that's not what did the style change, I don't know. But remember, what I've been doing for over 2 years was reviews in that one style, so that's what I stuck with. So it actually bears very close similarities to the ones from 2012. And then after the first view, it starts already changing to this, whatever it is today, if it's any different. Maybe I'm just more somber. But it is what it is, in my famous words. But I felt it was a successful review. I returned, did an energy drink. I made it clear that we'd be back again in another week. And we even shared a laugh along the way. So I thought that was a good welcoming back. Clearly, as I was worried, not everyone forgot about me. The first day, it had gotten almost 5,000 views, and it continued up. Nowadays, it's got about 13,000. Of course, it's cooled down, but it's still a very memorable video. And from that, overnight, I got about 70 subscribers. Which was something, because they actually pretty much replaced everyone that I lost in the time the channel was shut down. You'd really think that when the channel was down, a lot more people would unsubscribe, but it actually surprised me that not too many really did. It was just maybe like one per day. So, that was the original I Am Back video, and a little backstory about it. Then we started making videos every week. Once again, we went back to the roots of the channel. Now, if you think I was making the video one per week on purpose, absolutely not. Believe me, I was real anxious to get back to filming. I would have been making one maybe at the rate I am right now. I think this is the most I have ever produced in the fastest amount of time, and I have no intention on stopping. But, I think that a lot of people... What am I talking? A lot of people. Forget what I just said there. And the reason why I was only filming one per week back then was because you gotta remember, there were a few measures taken against me, in case I did something stupid again. As you know, for what I did, I pretty much lost my father's trust for a while. I could hope I have it back on very good terms. But I was permitted to only make one a week. And that video in itself was pretty much almost screened, if you will. And if I somehow went off the wall and said something really dastardly, that would be edited out. And nothing ever was. Kept my cool. But I was limited to one per week until, sometime in the summer of 2013, and now it's gone wild. But that was that. So, for the next few videos, energy drink review 76, 77, 78, 79, and 80. Well, we filmed all those week after week. It was actually almost like my early channel reborn again. Not talking about myself, but I'm talking about the videos. We were doing only energy drink reviews week after week. So that was something. It was very traditional, but I don't know, maybe back then, I don't know. I feel like I might have been more outspoken back then, I really don't know. Let's check out energy drink review number 77. Yeah, energy drink report. This is energy drink review number 77. Balls, cherry. With that being said, you know, I don't know, I felt I was a lot more outspoken in this video. You can watch this along too if you want. If you're listening to this via computer, otherwise you can listen via the audio I have playing. This is energy drink review number 77, Balls, cherry. This is our second week of being formally back, and I figured I'd decide to celebrate once again another beautiful occasion with yet another energy drink review. So today we're reviewing Balls Guarana Cherry. First, let me just specify something with the name. It's Balls, B-A-W-L-S, not B-A-L-L-S. Balls? Balls. That's how it's pronounced. Balls. Well, alright, anyways, I don't even know what I was going to say there, but let's continue this up now. So that was the first 40 seconds of the review. I don't know. I feel like I was more outspoken back then. Well, of course, I, for instance, utterly mispronounced the name of the drink in the last review, I did not go around making jokes about testicles, which I did many times in energy drink review number 77. Maybe I was a little more outspoken. Maybe. I don't know why I did that. Maybe this is how I was back then. Maybe I had more of a sense of humor than I do now. Maybe it was because the audience watching back then was still the audience from when it went viral, which kind of expected that kind of stuff. The true reason remained unknown, but the style of the drink reviews is was the same. We followed the identical format to the reviews that I filmed back in 2011. I still follow that same format now in 2014. It was just somewhat the humor that was in there. I felt the humor in these reviews, the early ones in my comeback, was a lot more direct, whereas the ones now try to be more subtle, but I think that it just makes it worse. Once again, for instance, the name, trying to call something that's called a sai, l'chaim, I think is very open. But either way, took a sip of water, I just didn't blank out. Now I blanked out. Well, the one thing, as I was saying, with the humor in this, what I think might have caused it, and that's really the big characteristic of my opening videos, the first block of energy drinks, of energy reviews, maybe the first 5 or so, after my return. I think the humor in it was really, maybe even exaggerated to a degree, because remember this, while my face is not plastered over every corner of the internet, thankfully, that'd be awful. I'd have to see myself all the time. But while my face isn't plastered all over the internet, remember that when I came back there, I was still pretty much fresh, You gotta think about it that, after my video gained attention, it's only been about, 2 months since. So with that being said, my status on the internet really wasn't, oh my god, you're YouTube famous. Though actually some guy was telling me that. I said, what are you talking about? It really wasn't YouTube famous. It was more like being a meme. Alright? I wasn't being watched at the time to be taken seriously for insight on energy drinks. I was watched to be laughed at. I was a clown. I was a comedian. An unpaid one. But I was one nonetheless. So I think my humor, once again, was mostly directed because of those, because I associated myself even as a meme back then. You know, so I was definitely exaggerating a lot of things, such as the use of some of the common phrases that I was known for and all that. This may have been why I was doing it, maybe even subconsciously, but I think that's why. But of course, over the course of things, as coming in front of the camera became more regular of a thing. You know, so that might be why that went away. Maybe it's still here. Who knows? Now I feel I just have my own crappy humor instead of reusing something someone else said about me. 55 minutes, keep going. We'll just go video to video now because I remember all of these videos now so vividly. I have a story to tell pretty much for each one. So we'll just do that. It's like, think of it this way, it's like watching the director's cut of a movie, except extremely low budget and very poorly done, but it's the same type of deal. Alright. So, review number 78. I was actually going through the Red Bulls at this time. This one was Red Bull Silver Edition. Now, that was back when these were relatively new, these types. They had the Red Edition, the Blue Edition, and the Silver Edition. Alright, so we're going through those. This one we did for Red Bull Silver Edition. Energy Crisis. Then she drink port. So today, we're reviewing Red Bull, the Silver Edition. So yeah, it seems like I'm going through those Red Bulls like crazy, and practically speaking, I am. Now you might hear something yet again emitting from my speakers. I know there was another review where something else was coming out, but right now I've got... Yeah, this one, the only real defining characteristic of this review, and once again, feel free to watch all this stuff. No one's stopping you. If you have free time, you may. But the one defining characteristic of this review was that in it, I actually went out to dinner to an actual restaurant. Nowadays, I normally don't do that so much anymore. I'm just content with, getting it delivered. Maybe because I feel that nowadays I'm looked at more as a spectacle than a person, and I really don't like that at all, so I just try to avoid it. But anyway, I actually went out and I was listening to the radio on the way home. Now, this is before I was enlightened and knew about shortwave. So I was listening to an FM station, and this one was some jazz station that I thought was really something. So I decided to listen to their internet station, which is now a travesty to listen to an internet station. I find it a travesty. It's not really actually listening to a radio station. So I guess this video is it's a podcast, whatever. You could call it whatever you want. But I was listening to the internet station of the jazz music, and you could faintly hear it in the background, and I had that going the whole video. There's actually another video, completely forgot about it. Energy Crisis Energy Drink Review number 73. That's Mana Energy Potion. Hello everyone, this is Energy Crisis, the Energy Drink Report. So, we're back. You could hear the beautiful sound of... I want to apologize for the noise that is emitting from my speakers. That is intentional, no worries. I'm listening to the best radio station in the world, aka UBV 76. It's this Russian radio station that's been playing this since the 80s, and nobody knows what its function is, what its purpose is, where it is. Sometimes people actually broadcast on it. Nobody knows who they are, so it's interesting, but I'll leave it to play during the review. So that was the first time I did that. Now, yes, of course, I actually just contradicted myself. UVB 76 is a shortwave station, but I wasn't listening to it on a shortwave receiver, be it the web SDR or my actual radio, which I have right here. I was listening to it on an online stream, so that really doesn't count. I'm just listening to someone else's shortwave radio tuned to a specific frequency. So that was the first time. Then the second time I ever did that was right there on review number 78. Already, come review number 78, I was already getting into the grind, right? I was already getting used to things. in our next video, we will talk about the reintroduction of the Running on Empty series and what quandaries, struggles I might have faced with coming back online with this channel. So we'll cover all of that and more in our next VORW show. Remember, let your voice be heard. Please send me a message on YouTube, and I'll gladly respond to it in the allotted section at the beginning of each and every VORW show. But, if you want to send me a message and you want it to be responded to privately, please specify in that message, and I'll definitely work to do that. Otherwise, the messages will be responded to and read out at the beginning of each and every VORW show. Well, I thank each and every one of you for listening, and I will gladly see each and every one of you, well, maybe not each and every one of you, but most of you in a later video. Take care, and I hope all is well.